and all that. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So for some reason, it's not getting connected, so it's fine. So I'll share the presentation.
Yes.
Later. Right. So let me start. Okay. So I think let's start then. So before we start, anyone knows any bhajans, anything, just to bring more? Anyone is as a good singer or
Bhajan.
नहीं होगा.
Vicky. Bhajan. I think let's go.
नहीं. Just checking so that we can just get tuned in. That's it. Not an issue at all. Okay, I'll just sing maybe 4 lines of my bhajan. You can just see why we are first of all having any bhajans or any rituals is basically like you are basically trying to tune yourself in, right? Like you tune to a radio station, right? So that's the point of doing all this bhajans and arti and puja and all that, right? So that we say that we should receive the blessings of the Lord. So what does it mean? It actually means that you are tuning yourself because you are distracted so much outside, right? So you are just tuning yourself to attain that blessings in the sense that you are. That's why we do all these pujas, correct? So it's a general practice if you look at in any kind of uh, you know the sessions or yajnas, right? That they start with prayer, they start with chanting, they start with the bhajans. The reason is we all will be coming with hundreds of thoughts from outside, right? We come with tomorrow's tension to the office, what is to be done for the next week, the entire week. So just forget all that for the time being, at least for you know about an hour or so, and then try to understand and tune to this. That's the point. So before we begin the prayer, we'll just maybe have chant 4 lines or something. वनमाली राधारमण गिरिधारी गोविंदा वनमाली राधारमण गिरिधारी गोविंदा वनमाली राधारमण गिरिधारी गोविंदा गिरिधारी गोविंदा भक्त हृदय मंदार भानुकोटि सुंदर 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 नंद नंद गोप वृंद नारायण गोविंद नंद नंद गोप वृंद नारायण गोविंद हरि 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 नारायण गोविंद वनमाली राधारमण गिरिधारी गोविंद वनमाली राधारमण गिरिधारी गोविंद Om Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankaracharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryandam Vande Guru-Paramparam Shruti-Smriti-Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat-Padam Shankaram Loka-Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra-Bhashya-Kritau Vande Bhagavanto Punah-Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti-Bheda-Vibhagine Vyomavad-Vyapta-Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Let's chant together. Om Sahana Bhavatu.
Om Sahana Bhavatu.
Sahano Bhunattu.
Sahanao Bhunattu.
Sahaviryam Karavavahai.
Sahaviryam Karavavahai.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Asato ma Sadgamaya.
Asato ma Sadgamaya.
Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya.
Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya.
Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya.
Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya.
So,
Sandeep will कोई अगर आया तो देखो.
okay, so let's start. So now last week we had an assignment, right? So I think I got a lot of perspective actually, and I think 3-4 really good. So is there any doubt in whatever we have discussed till now? Because our next step is actually something like, we are going to look at what is Atman. We all say that life, and Atman, right? But what is it, right? So any doubts, any clarifications before we begin?
Sorry, I was not here last time, so I have no idea.
Okay.
Last time.
Life and Atman difference.
We will come to that. We are just going to see the.
He's asking any doubt till now. So even whatever you have attended, even past 2 or 3 lessons or before. So if you have anything where
Actually, it would be good if someone can summarize it, because then we all can see. I'm not going to do that because
basically I can summarize what I understood is. So you have taught us 3 layers: Shukshma Sarira, Sthula Sarira, and Karya Sarira. But what I understood is Karya Sarira comes before and Karya Sarira comes after, in 2 ways possibly. So life starts where life ends. And saying what I feel is Brahma starts as a physical body, as a journey, and trying to go to Parabrahma, non-physical body again. So that circle, I'm thinking that is kind of.
So Brahma starts at.
So Brahman is us within,
right?
Where Karya Sarira starts, where there are so one male, one female, they have eaten something, and there are 2 beej which mix up with one. And that process is a Karya Sarira. What I understood is, and from that rebirth and Asthi and all that starts. So Stula Sarira and Sukshma Sarira will start from that. When pre-birth onwards, we start getting all the Gnanendriya, Karmendriya, all those things at stages. So, for example, even this body as a chariot, what we thought, that chariot is actually carrying that Atman or within and activating all the Gnanendriya, Karmendriya and trying to control. So there are intellect where you guide us as a Krishna, but when I define my intellect and my other Jnanendriya is I consider as a one part of that Atman where it's all divisions, which is might be controlled by that Atman if we try to dig in within and realize ourselves where actually we came from or where we are our journey going. But in my mind that, for example, what we heard from elders as well, that it's a life is one circle. So you finish one circle and then you rebirth and you finish another circle and you till you do good karma and your within will merge to the Parabrahma. Now, if we decide that chakra, if we believe that that chakra is exists, then Karya Sarira starts with where life ends similarly at same path. And the Atman is starting with that body, and Atman might be jumping into another body while same process if it's not merging to the for a Brahma. And that journey might be many more journeys or multi-million times journey till you really find your within and merge yourself to the extreme, like supreme, right? So that is what I felt, and that is what I did as a homework as well. KG student drawing. So don't laugh.
That's fine.
So I thought that is a vehicle where we are.
So take you all three.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a vehicle. So these are the Karya Sarira where two things starts and put one Atman into one vehicle, and these are all Indriyas with lights and all that. And these are the journey which starts and ends at a kind of rounding circle. What I feel this, but beyond this is the within. This is like just what we taught about, like learn about Tattva Buddha. But
right. I think this.
But more. This is just about Tattva Buddha. I draw, but more is all about within, which is deep down here somewhere, and going into to find supreme or connect supreme.
Good. You want to show it to others? You can.
Yeah, this is like very poor drawing. So these are the Karya Sarira, for example, and from that there is a Atman. This is a vehicle where all the means of driving that vehicle, which is your body, and going to the multi-million paths and coming back to the same cycle again. So that's what I felt and thought. But this is all just I thought about Tattva Buddha, what we learned till now. But my journey, I want to go into that within as a lead down, which might be we are starting now.
So that's a good perspective. So you,
So I have shown this that as a two Karya Sarira. So Karya Sarira and comes as a Atman. This is a vehicle. Start multi journeys and come back to same circle, and we do all those journeys again and again.
right. So I think that's a very good way to put it. So the Karana Sharira, actually it's not Karya Sharira, it's Karana Sharira. Yeah, so the way that you have explained, that's perfect. Only one thing that we need to see is that whether there is an Atman, right? And we will park this thought, right? That goes from one body to another, right? And then whether it goes through the cycles, and that's what we will see. So just park that thought. So that's the only thing that we will debate about, right?
Yes.
Once we see the others also. So you have the latest one, or?
Yeah, I have latest one.
That's fine.
Animated as well,
So I think yeah. So this is for the bias, right?
Yeah.
That's like
I have a further development.
Yeah, yes,
Yes,
can read
yes,
it.
yes. I had a question though, anyway, on this one.
Yeah. So everything. So here. So this, I think the people on the call
You can share the.
might not be, that's a problem. I'm not getting the Wi-Fi for some reason.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry, it's not there.
Working. So, so that's
you are
why.
not getting on mine as well? Okay, let me see.
So, no, I'm not getting my this thing. So,
I think it's very close signal here.
even correct. So the hotspot is not. So this one, so Pratibha
It says
says
connected, like file. One is LT460S, Rigstar, laptop as well. It says connected.
so that's fine. So we will share that later with them.
Yeah.
Right. So this one you have shown Sukshma Sharira, Stula Sharira, and then you have shown everything. There is a Maya bond case that you have shown there. Right. So which
Yeah, I'm trying to flip it.
Hmm.
In our normal, the other day you showed a couple of examples where the Sula Sharira was the outermost and it was all going deeper into the innermost was the most blissful. Right? While that is true, I'm finding insight, but I'm trying to relate it to the infinity or the definition of the Atman, the cycles becoming the pure soul, which then merges with the in conception, it merges with the Parabrahma, right? So for that, I'm taking the context of infinity, and I've tried to relate that and flipped it that the bliss state is the outermost, whereas the innermost we are in our Sthula Sarira, very much Annamaya state, where it's food and you're thinking that way, and you are blocked by that. It's very materialistic, right? Then you move into your emotion. I think the energy state, the emotion state, then your the buddhis, and then finally you get your the bliss state, the anandamaya, right? Anandamaya kosha. And that is where your the karana sharira comes into picture, and also your deep sleep state. They all overlap when you are in the final bliss state, right? So you're closer to your if I may say, the soul is getting purer because you're getting detached from your material body, right? The further you're going, and that is taking you a step closer to a purer soul or to your merger with the Parabrahma. This is one of my experience. I have flipped it.
So that is my question to always myself as well. So when our intellect is growing and becoming stronger, and same time we try to find out what is within. There are a lot of logical, illogical thoughts comes, right? And when intellect is very strong because of the materialistic world and 1 + 1 is 2, so how is not getting 3 or 5, whatever it is, right? Our logistical mind and our technical mind or intellect is not allowing us to break that barrier.
Right.
Connecting with experience, how you grow, you experience the life, which is this world life.
Yeah.
And that experience also not allowing to that ego to break that intellect or ego to break into the very like subtle or easier path, which is we go within, right? And I'm very much surprised for you that you have this kind of knowledge, still you are attached and detached to the family, job, and materialistic world. For me, it's very tough. If I go into that zone, for me is every person is 98% similar. 2% emotionally, my memories allow me differently. But when I treat, so this is my complaint. I was just discussing with my wife as well that she always say that you treat everyone as a more priority than me and my son. And I say, for me, it's like not that, but it's everyone. Whoever comes to me is a same people or same category kind of people. But that is always a debate within that how you manage that attachment, detachment, going into deep thoughts of what you have done your journey and how you put your intellect aside, ego aside, and still you stay in this world and that world.
So you don't have to ideally do that, right? The thing is that you need, see, the point is that the ego, the intellect, and your mind, if you really need to ask whether you really need to see whether that is controlling you, or you are at times, it will control. That's the nature of the mind, right? The thoughts will come, the intellect will push you. So there are times where you will have to take a step back, right? And then take a step back and see just as a witness, as a thought, right? It might be like something that will be really pushing you. You will be like, see, the emotions is what the mind drives on, right? It could be any type of emotions, as a matter of fact, right? So those emotions, when it comes, right, and it will be, of course, related to the ego. That is, I didn't get it, or somebody just, they humiliated me, right? So, or they praise me, whatever it is, right? So that actually is, if somebody is humiliating you, that hurts you, right? That hurts you deep inside. Then the ego gets attached there. The ego says that, you know what, that guy has humiliated me. How can that happen? So if you actually look at it from an ego perspective, you will not be able to sleep actually, right? Because, but if you take a step back on what has been humiliated, right? Is it me, right? As a body, as a mind, as what did that person humiliate? See, the point is that we are trying to see that this is the bundle that we call this body, right? We superimpose ourselves, and that's what we are exactly going to see here on where is Atman, what is Atman, what is my real nature. So let's come to the objects plus consciousness. So that's what we are trying to see in today's class. So park this out also. We will come back to this during the end of the class. Right?
I have one question you may answer probably later is, are we going to introduce the concept of lokas? Because when we are doing the circles of birth and rebirth, right?
So no, lokas will come in not in this one. Yes, we are going to. So what we are going to do is we are going to see what is Atman now. Then at the end of it, once we realize everything, a question will come that, so what is, once we finish this class, probably you will ask the question, so what is this all we see? What is Loka, right? What is it? So that's what we will be covering in the sessions to come. So we will be trying to conclude, I don't know whether we'll be able to today, but we'll be trying to conclude the micro aspect, that is the individuality aspect of it. Then we will go to the Loka aspect, the universe and the world. And that's where the creation manifestation all will come. So this thing, I think this is really good. So you have said, and one thing that is very interesting is freedom that you have written here, which infinity, yeah. So that really is good. So so what
yeah, that's your bondage. That's so
yeah.
That, for me, that was Atman becoming the cycle of rebirth, as and here is where I'm saying there are lokas. It's not just one; it's lokas in various layers, and then it becomes pure soul. But this is still not the merger. The merger is actually this or infinity.
So
or
does it mean that
that's a journey from getting pure, right, through various cycles where it becomes.
So how does this happen? Is it after death? Because if you look at here, the stool.
Yeah, so death is happening here and rebirth is happening here. It may happen in one cycle only, or you may just achieve the journey. It depends. Entirely depends on how the mind.
Very good. I think that this is, you have seen this, right? Really good. So I think some efforts have gone into this. And I think Jignesh Bhai has also done really good. So, and you are saying Jignesh Bhai, so this is actually better. I think so you guys can probably say this. Oops. So you are saying it's like a, you have actually put that under a triangle, right? And the outermost layer is the Sthula Sharira, then again going to Sukshma, Karana, but you have mapped the Atman outside of it. Right?
Yeah, so because I had some queries with regards to Atman in the previous sessions as well. So I hold my thoughts until I get some more clarity.
Okay.
Because the doubts are related to birth, day, why, those sort of things we just now asked. So I just try to connect it to some tattva where it merges and comes back again. That's my thought. But because I could not show it inside, I tried to show it somewhere, but it could be connected within because like things have so many similar thoughts. Like we all are different entities, but things like telepathy and all those things work. So somehow things are connected, but I'm not able to understand how they are connected. So that's why I've just tried to layer it out, similar triangle, but somewhere out. So I think some mind is some way connected, but not
sparkling
how.
water. It's a sparkling.
Yeah, that's
Well, anyone?
So
So I think, yeah, you were not there, right? So, I know that there might be some doubts, or are you clear?
Up to before that, the Sharif and all that, and that I understood, linking with the chariots and all. The Karmeni race, that was okay. What happened last that, I don't know.
चाय बना के मंगा सकता हूँ
नहीं. So that connect I could not find. So I know it's somewhere within, but don't know where.
Okay,
So
so good. So we'll see that. That's okay.
Yes.
and that would be incomplete if I don't draw that. So I have to place it somewhere.
Yeah, it's there. It's there. We'll come to that. Sorry.
Mine is cheating. That is your house.
No, mine is the worst. You guys are IT guys presenting so many times, everything. I never play.
I have done the paper and pen. I have also not done any IT thing.
मैंने एनिमेशन भी बनाया बाद में दिखाऊंगा.
So
I have one video to show as well. Small video, 2-3 minutes.
yeah. So this is Parivas.
I am saying that Atman is everywhere, and I think this basic concept, starting with Avastha, your Jagrata Avastha, your Swapna Avastha, then you Sushupti Avastha, right? The question is when, right? You are everywhere, when you are there.
Yeah.
I'm saying Atman is everywhere. It's evolving between Sarira.
That I'll share that in the
Panchakosha.
That is Paresh Bhai homework.
You are evolving.
So Paresh Bhai has done that homework.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it's more about.
So I
when.
think they might not be able to see.
That's what I'm saying. It's everywhere. It's just a revolving. It's a matter of time when you visit that place.
Right. So I think Rikin Bhai has done a really good map. So I think you can send it to that. It's a link or something.
Yeah. So basically, what I've done is I was mapping everything. I'll share it. I'll put it on WhatsApp. It's a link.
Yeah. So it's a link.
It's incomplete because, as I said, I ran out of time, and my notes. Sometimes I write, and I sometimes cannot just read my own handwriting. So what I try to do is I try to map everything. Okay, fine. Stula, Sukshma, Sharira. Okay, what are the components? And then the progress on that is that every component I will write down some kind of like explanations. Obviously it's in two parts. So I wouldn't say it's cheating, but what I'm saying, it's gathering knowledge as well. So I'm looking at my notes at the same time looking at the presentation, and the third time what I'm doing is I'm also looking at the available information in the whole world and see if I can make sense out of it, pick up the best components, put it in my presentation. So that's what I'm trying to do. I can't do animation like you.
Sandeep bhai ordered me a new laptop, so I thought why not explore the new tool.
No, I'm waiting for mine as well. He's promised me one as well. So, but no, you're right. Actually. So this is what I've been trying to do, and I used the mirror boards to do it. So it's
So I think, yeah, everyone has shared the perspective. I think anyone on the call who wants to share? I think that, yeah, that's fine. So now, So where is Atman? So it's that's the question, right? You know, where is this thing called as life, and where is Atman? So first of all, let's see what we have seen till now, what we have mapped. So you know, some of them, like, you know, what you have done is much better. But then just if you look at this mapping, right? So this is the Annamaya Kosha, or this subtle the Stula Sharira that we have. So the Stula Sharira, so again, like what we said last time, this is not like peeling an onion. It's not layer by layer. But then for our understanding, yes. So Annamaya Kosha is this body that is made up of the Anna, or the food layer, right? You know, and while we are in this state, that is the Jagrat state, we are primarily next, because of our Jagrat state, we perceive this body, right, as is. So, but we also have all these layers within us, but the most predominant or the most external layer is the Annamaya Kosha, right? And then we have the Pranamaya, Manomaya, and Vijnanamaya, which is the Sukshma Sharira. And if you look at, this is a continuity. It's not like, you know, it's not breaking. So Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, the three avasthas that are here is, if you look at the Bija avastha or the Karana Sharira, is now also within us. The mind, intellect is now also within us. It's working, right? You know, that's why we are discussing this, right? So the Sukshma Sharira is also very much there, but we are in predominantly in Jagrada avastha. So if we close our eyes, and then if we are, like, you know, just trying to think about something else, as in, or we are getting bored, we are feeling sleepy, when we go beyond, what happens is that we go to this layer of Swapna avastha, right? And then still all this is coming in here. The Karana Sharira, or the Bija avastha, that is, you know, our predominant, our causal body, as we call it, the causal state, is where we are having Sushupti. Again, once we are in this layer, so the layers comes like this, right? You know, the Annamaya goes, that is, you know, when we are sleeping, when we are in the Swapna dream state, we don't perceive our body, we just lie down, but then we perceive something else, that there is a Swapna, we are in that Swapna and all that, right? So that layer is gone from an experience perspective. That layer is not there. The Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya is still there, because we are seeing something in the dream. When we are in total deep sleep, Sushupti state, right? So that there we don't perceive anything. We don't perceive I am Hari, I'm you know, sleeping here, nothing. So this is what we have seen till now, right? Now let's see where is this thing called as Atman, right? So the next shloka talks about this. So I'll just recite this shloka. So Panchakoshatita, that's the next shloka. Madiyam shariram madiya pranaha madiyam manasya madiya buddhihi madiyam ajnanamidi sveneva jnayate tadyata madiyatvena jnatam kadagakundala grihadikam swasmat bhinnam tada panchakoshadikam swasmat bhinnam madiyatvena jnanamatma na bhavati. Okay, so now Shankaracharya and scriptures are making a very profound statement here. Jnanam atma na bhavati. Whatever you are seeing here, whatever you have seen, that is not me. I am not able to. That's a problem, right? You know, I'm not getting the Wi-Fi.
Is here.
Okay, let me.
So Casio Metro 1 hash C capital M capital.
What is the name of the Wi-Fi?
CM residence.
CM residence. Okay.
CM residence.
Casio.
Wi-Fi is Casio C capital ASSIO M capital ETRO Metro 1 hash.
One hash. One hash.
Escalation. Oh yeah, yes, yeah. So you can share this.
Yeah, I will try and share these. Give me a minute. So these are the hiccups of having a direct meeting as well at times, right? But it has its advantages when we are having a direct meeting.
We have like all the facilities here, sir.
That's right. Yeah, we have all the facilities, so that's really great. And thanks, Sandeep. Otherwise, we would have been at a place where it is not quiet. This is quiet, and we can discuss. So that's really good.
So when you have said that we are in deep sleep and we don't know anything about us,
Yeah.
Some people in sleep they walk, in sleep they speak something, and they don't realize it's a dream or non-dream. So is that deep sleep stage or is that dream stage?
No, I think that is still in the Sukshma Sharira, because some activity is still happening there. When you are absolutely in deep sleep state, right? So you don't perceive that you are doing something. You are, see what happens. Why people are walking, like somnambulism and all that. They are still perceiving something, that they are walking, or they do something there. Some activities happening at mind intellect level. Otherwise, they will not be. The pranendriyas, the pancha pranas and the karmendriyas, both are in sync, though at sleep. So that is happening in sleep, right? But that's what it is. So give me a minute. Let me just.
The karma indriyas are not active in sleep, right? So therefore they are in sync. Is that
Right.
karma indriya won't be active in sleep, so that's
No, but in this particular case, that when somebody is walking in sleep, that's
then there's action.
Yeah.
So that is a strange thing, because they technically don't reconcile that they have done some kind of activity.
Like sometimes when you're driving,
And this is like
know the route already, you are unconsciously driving. Physical activity is happening, but your mind is just doing the driving.
and I don't know it's filmy thing or not, but split personality, right? Sometimes people say that they go into another character and they don't realize what the other character has done. I don't know. It's a fact or factual, or it's a dream.
I have very different understanding.
Sorry?
No, he's asking that just because.
No.
That is true, but I have very limited understanding. Let me tell you. So, split personality. I mean, it's very again deeper question. Like what happens inside? It's the same person. It's not another person.
But they remember everything while they act as other person or person.
Not everything. No.
So that is another question, that how we consider that kind of stage. So split personality, psychologically, some person.
See,
acts as a
all
different
that
person.
happens in, right, the antakarana level, right? So because we are identifying ourselves with this body, right? If you look at the 5 sheets and the antakarana, right? Actually, this can be, yeah, right, right. So that you can see that, right? So all of your split personality, everything, right? Your own attachment to your body as this person, Hari, right? All happens in this layer, this ahankara layer.
Okay.
Right? So what is happening there? What is happening there is that if you have a split personality, rather than identifying my entity with Hari, I am also identifying my entity with someone else, or I am imagining that I am someone else, right? So that happens in the ahankara layer. Again, these are all like the psychological one, right? So that's where it is. Now this everything happens in Sukshma Sharira.
Okay.
Right? So Stula Sharira is just the anatomical layer as we know it, right? So then the Sukshma Sharira, we have seen that. The 5 sheets we have seen what it is. And this is what we have come to do, right? So already we are at 6:30. So let's see what Atman is. So now, before we see where Atman is, we need to first of all understand uh, what, how we are identifying ourselves, what experiences that we are having on our daily life. So whenever we have any kind of experience, whenever we are having, right, so we want to possess something, or even as simple as just drinking this, right? So what happens there is that there is a process to it. If you look at it, there is an object, which is this, right? Then there is, I'm taking this, I'm drinking it, right? And then there is that experience of drinking it while it is going on. And then there is an experiencer, me. So let's say I'm drinking tea. I want a tea in the morning. Right? What happens is there is that there are 3 things that are happening: objects, experiencing, the act of experiencing, and the experiencer. Correct? So if you look at any kind of positions that we want, right? So, or any kind of experiences that we go through, everywhere it is there. There are experiencer and the object. That is, I hope there is no doubt in that, right? So we are clear? Okay. So if you now look at anything that you think that is most beloved to you, wife, children, house, whatever it is, right? So all this actually, if you look at, those are also objects. Just, take an objectively, just to understand what it is, right? So that is different from you, right? Though you consider that much more than yourself, that is much more beloved than yourself, it is different from you, correct? Those are objects. And then you are the owner, experiencer of that, right? So similarly, now what is changing there? If I have to buy this mobile, or I have to, go through a certain experience, I still have the memory of that, right? So I want certain things from morning till evening. I'm going through various experiences, not just one, various experiences. Weeks we are going through various experiences. Months we are going through various experiences. If you look at when we were born, even our body has changed so much that we have completely changed ourselves. But then we say that I experienced it. I experienced it. I am the bhokta of it. What did not change? I didn't change. Correct? I didn't change because the experiencer didn't change. Correct? The object changed. The object that you were having during the childhood, even a toy, that changed. The experience of playing changed. But then there was that experiencer who still remembers that. That didn't change. Why we have the continuity? Because that I has not changed. So what is changing, what is not changing in this? Objects and the act of experiencing is changing. The experiencer is not changing. Is that logical?
Yeah.
Right? Now, let's take the same logic to these 3 bodies. Okay? Sandeep seems to be having some...
I'm just started thinking of that 3 bodies, how you
right.
What is changing.
So now 3 bodies, right? So what is remember the most important aspect of whatever we said just now is the experiencer. The experiencer, right? Who is not changing. Okay, so part that. Now the 3 bodies, the Stula Sharira or the Jagrada Avastha, the waking state that we are. So what's happening there? We are on the waking state from morning till evening, or at night till the time we go to sleep. Next day morning, we wake up, then suddenly all the thoughts come in, whatever we have to do today, all that comes. Now that is our waking state. And whatever the experiences that we mentioned is happening. Then once we go to sleep, we have dreams, wherein we are not We don't have any notion or understanding that we are sleeping somewhere, right? I am so and so person sleeping in so and so house in so and so room. No, nothing. We might be in totally different place altogether. We might be experiencing, I don't know whether you have experienced things like, sometimes you might experience that you will forget that you are Hari or you are that person. You might see yourself as some other person, some other animal, something, right? So, but at that point, there is that reality. When you are dreaming, you didn't know, right? Then you go to deep sleep, absolutely deep sleep, wherein nothing, you are experiencing nothing. But once you wake up, you know that, okay, that was a very good state. I had deep sleep. I am feeling refreshed. Though you were not there, though the guy who saw the sapna was not there, the guy who was in the waking state is not there. This from the experience point of view, your body is not there, your mind is not there, nothing was there in the deep sleep state, right? But then when you wake up, you say that I was refreshed, right? I had a very good night's sleep. If that's not the case, right? If you have a very disturbed sleep, you have dreams, then you absolutely feel like, absolutely broken in the morning. You don't feel good. And what happens is that, we don't remember all the dreams, correct? What is happening there? So ideally, you can just observe this. When you are sleeping, whatever dreams that you ideally remember are the ones that you see just before you wake up, because you have that continuity. Or the ones you suddenly, the dreams are really bad and then you suddenly wake up, right? And then because of the panic or whatever it is. So from Swapna to Jagrati, if there is a continuity, then ideally you remember. But then there is a void, you can call in between, which is the deep sleep state. And now the most important thing is there is a continuity there. Otherwise, what happens is that if you are just from one morning till evening, till the time you are going to sleep, if there was no continuity, you would not have remembered what happened. You will be dying every day. If the objects experience and the act of experiencing and experiencer. Now what we are trying to do is we are trying to take the same logic of whatever we just saw about the objects experiencing and experiencer to these three bodies, right? So we are trying to see whether there is an experiencer, a continuity there. If there is no continuity, right, for the experiencer, you will not remember everything, right? Even if deep sleep, the next day morning you will not remember. So there was, even though from experience point of view, we are absolutely in void, we didn't have anything. There was someone who understood. That is not Hari, that is not Pradeep, right? That is not that person that we know of now. Who understood that I was in that totally deep blissful state. If that person, that entity or whatever you call it, was not there, then you would not be remembering, you would not have any continuity. There is something, an underlying thread of consciousness that is going within all these three states.
No, yes.
Yeah.
But I have a few questions.
Yeah. So all the three states, you have some underlying state of one continuity, right? Which is there. So that continuity, if you look at now, what do we do in science? If we have to learn about a particular thing, we will try to isolate, like the molecules, and then we will try to separate the rest of it. So that's what we are trying to do. Now we are trying to separate that consciousness from all the rest of it. Now we are seeing the Stula Sharira as an object, right? And all the experiences associated with it as objects. Okay, so this body is an object, right? All the experiences associated with it are object. And then we have the other state, which is the Swapna Avastha, the dream state, which is happening at that point of time, wherein Stula Sharira was not present there, logical. And then there is this deep sleep state, wherein we were there, but the Stula Sukshma was not there. But there was something there. So what is happening if you look at from this that consciousness point of view. Consciousness, that is, let's call the experiencer that consciousness, right? Or the experience. The consciousness plus the act of experiencing plus the objects is what gives rise to the experience, as we call it, from our point of view, the totality of an experience, totality of anything for that matter, even if I'm drinking something or eating something, whatever experience. So you have the object. So here in this case, Stula Sharira is an object. Why? If I was a Stula Sharira, I would be the same during the Swapna Avastha and Sushupti Avastha. But I am not experiencing my Stula Sharira. I am not experiencing this cross body during my dream state or the deep sleep state. Right? Similarly, if I was the Sukshma Sharira, the the Swapna guy, the guy who's dreaming, then that person, that dreams should be real throughout as a continuity. That is also not there because I am not experiencing that person now. I don't remember what I dreamt yesterday. If I am having the same kind of Sushupti Avastha, if I was that person in Sushupti, and if that was the reality, right? So that should be now as well, because I should not be experiencing anything. But I'm seeing you guys, you are seeing me. So, that is happening now. But what is there? There is something beyond all these three, which is experiencing these three states. So, these three states, let's keep it as three objects, right? So there is, what we are trying to do is, we are trying to see whether there is a common thread. There is a common thread, that is understood. Now that common thread is something, let's call it as consciousness, right? So that's what Shankaracharya is saying here, that Nyatamatma na bhavati, madiyam shariram, madiya prana, madiyam manasya, madiya buddhi. So what he is saying is that all this that you see, which is Stula Sharira, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, I am experiencing all this. These are all objects. There is somebody who is experiencing all this. How? This is my mobile phone, but I am not this mobile phone. This is mine, correct? But I am not this. Similarly, this is my body, but I am not the body. That's the logic. It's absolutely logical, right? So what he's saying is, all these five koshas, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, all this is there. We are not denying it. Three shariras are there, three states are there. But these are just like Kadaka, Kundala, Grihadika, meaning your Kadaka, bangles, Kundala is like, the earrings, Grihadika, your house and right, whatever. So Kadaka, Kundala, why? Because ornaments and house at that time, whatever was valuable, right? So he is referring to that. Those are yours, but you are not that. You are owner of that. Likewise, there is a consciousness that is the owner of these three bodies and all the associated objects and experiences. And that is called as Atman.
So Atman has memories?
We'll come to that. Okay. Right? Now we are going to what is Atman. Now, let me chant this. Atma tarhika sachidananda swarupaha satkim kalatrepi tishtaditi sad chitkim jnanaswarupaha anandakim sukaswarupaha evam sachidananda swarupam swatmanam vijaniyat. Right. Now, we said that you just asked whether Atman has memories. Atman doesn't have memories. Atman is the one, the continuous thread illumining memories, right? So that's what he's saying in the scriptures. Shankaracharya and also all the scriptures say. Now we were always discussing about these three shariras. There should be something to power that, right? Because if you look at just like that, it has got no power. Swapnavastha or this body, if I am speaking to you, there should be something to power that. right?
Yeah.
That continuity that we just talked about, that consciousness, that thread is the source of power, right? So people generally, whenever we put a diagram like this, they put the Atman here somewhere in the middle, like, in midst of everything as a small flame. So that has given to this notion that Atman is something that is inside the body. There somewhere it's there as small thing, and then suddenly it goes out of this body, it goes to somewhere else, and all. That is not the case. Because if that was the case, right, then these three different things, the continuity thread that is there, it can only power, right? Some of this should have a little less energy, and Atman should go away with this body. And I think somebody had asked this question whether soul, yes, there is a Jiva and Jivatma, Paramatma concept, which will come to that. But we are just talking about the Atman as a whole. Will it die? So that's the point. Now, if you look at what our scriptures are saying is, where is it? It is not inside. It is somewhere that is illumining all these three shariras. Right? It is not here, right? But it's somewhere beyond, above and beyond. The first question that we will ask, if it's above and beyond, what we will do is that it's our notion. We will see, okay, where is it? We will first of all think that, okay, this is not within this Sharira, then it should be outside, means outside where? Outside in this world. No. It is above and beyond. That's where we will come to the world, concept of the world, right? What this world is made of. But now for our understanding, Atman is above and beyond these three Shariras, the continuity thread. Consciousness is above and beyond the three Shariras. Any questions?
So you say the conscious is the Atma.
The consciousness is the power, is the Atman. The problem is we identify that consciousness plus objects plus experience is what we consider ourselves as me, I. Right? So whatever experiences that I have gone through has made me as Hari, as a person. That's what I call as my ego. That's what I call as myself, and then I get attached to these layers there, right? The Panchajnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, Panchaprana, especially Antahkarana. And that consciousness, because the pure light of consciousness that is there, that is what is my real nature. If that was not the real nature, then I should be having either of these avasthas throughout. What is throughout? What is not changing? That is the question. What is not changing is me. Whatever is changing in terms of experience, objects, in terms of the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. If I am able to know that I am there, because there is a continuity. Otherwise, I'll be dying every day, right? I'll be giving birth as a new person every day. That thread is a consciousness. Now that thread is also powering. How is it? That's what Shankaracharya is saying. Atma Tarhika Satchidananda Swarupa. Satchidananda. Have you heard about this term?
Yes. Sat plus Chit plus Anand.
Sat plus Chit plus Anand. Now what is Sat? Kalatrayati Tishtati Sat. That clears our doubt on whether this Atman dies with the body. He says, Kalatraya. Kalatraya means Bhutam, Bhavi, Vartamana. Past, present, and future. Whatever is there throughout, without change, that is called as that Satchidananda. The Sat is defined by Kalatraya Krishna. That is there in all the three. Yeah.
So this concept of the Atman, the energy driving all the three states or the five koshas or the three
the bodies, right? If it is, if we are saying that it is external or it is somewhere outside, so that it can have the continuity or the energy is carried between that, right? Then how is that Atman, my Atman, for example, different to his or his or his? Because we all are outside. Then
No,
actually it is the same as
exactly. That's why we say that, you know, Atman is one or Brahman. And that's the point. That's why our scriptures say Atman is not different.
Yeah, so Atman, for me, it's just terms where Atman is probably not yet pure. Brahman is the pure form of Atman, which opens the way to the Parabrahm, which is effectively the same energy all of us have, but it's the same. I don't know. That is the way I was trying.
So the point is that, you know, the term that you just said as Atman, you are trying to identify yourself as this Ahankara. Right?
Because I am very much in that material.
Right, yeah. So that is Ahankara, which is like, you know, there is nothing called as your Atman or my Atman differently, because I and what differentiates you and me is the Ahankara, is the ego, right?
So then, what is the difference between Atman, Brahman, and Parabrahman? If everything is external and there is the ego factor is gone away, then
there is
the
absolutely no difference.
They are the same, right?
They are the same, right? So they are the same, but why it is being termed differently? To just for us to study. Now we are talking about Atma, right?
Sure.
Now we will talk about, when we see the word, we will talk about Ishvara. What is Ishvara? Then we will talk about Brahman, right? And then finally we will talk that, you know, we'll see that all three are there. There is no difference. But now we are looking from a micro angle. We are saying that Atman. We are using the term Atman. But that's what our scriptures say, and that's what is the reality. That there are no different Atmas. There are the ego that is being illuminated by that light. It's like, you know, if you, let's say you are plugging in something to that plug, right? So what happens there, if you plug in a music system, the music will come out. If you plug in a TV, the visuals will come out. If you plug in a grinder, the grinding power, the electricity will come out as a grinding power, right? So similarly, what it is said is, even not just for the humans, anything in this world, right? You know, even if it's a small bacteria to the blue whale, right? The consciousness which gets the electricity is the same. It gets identified or gets plugged into a particular device. It starts showing the property of that device. Correct? Yeah. That's what happens when you plug in something to the electricity. It's exactly the same, because electricity by its own, I'm just taking, it's a vague example, but then for you to understand. The electricity by its own doesn't have any particular nature. It doesn't have the music, it doesn't have visuals, it doesn't have the grinding or anything. But if that is not there, you know, nothing will work. Similarly, see, when we say that you, my Atma, and this is something that we find ourselves very much difficult to get over with, because the moment that we were born, what is it that is most dearest to us? I, me, my ego, pride, right? If somebody is coming and telling you, you know what, that's just something that is being illuminated by something else, it's not there. Whatever you are thinking that you are that is actually not you, and you are everywhere. There are two ways of looking at it. If you are like very much egoistic, you will say that, what are you saying? That, you know, I am not there. That's dangerous. So that's why people say that don't study Vedanta, right? You know, that's very dangerous. And people have this notion that when you are old, when you are about to die, then you study Vedanta. Because of the misconception here, right? That's the ego part playing there. But the way to actually look at it is, think of it this way, that if you see that you are not limited by this body, this ego, and you are that power which is everywhere, right? Or which is powering everything, then think about that vastness, that limitless capability that you have, the energy that you are. That is your real nature, actually. But you know, you are whatever we are discussing now is from this layer. Ahankara, Chitta, Buddhi. We are trying to crunch it like last time what we said, trying to look at the battery through the torch. Right? That's what is happening. Now, people often ask this question that we talk about sannyasis, sadhakas, and all that. What's the state that they are in? What is it that what is an enlightened
Samadhi.
samadhi? What is enlightenment? It is nothing but this reaching this. When you say reaching this, and there is a term to it, I think you might have already heard about this term, right? Turiya. Have you heard about the term Turiya? No. Okay. So Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and Turiya. Turiya is the fourth avastha. It is not an avastha. It is the base for the other three avasthas. So that's the base on which the other three states, waking, dream, and deep sleep, and your Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, Sharira illumines itself. Right? So that is the unchanging. So the logic is very simple. If it is always changing, there should be a base which is unchanging. If the vehicles have to be driven, there should be a road that is not getting driven itself, right? You know, if the vehicles are moving, the road is also moving, right? Right. So that base that is there, which is unchanging, which is illuminating, that is what is the Atman. That is what our Vedas says. That is what is the state of Turiya. If any person who's in Samadhi or any enlightened soul is in this state, the Samadhi, the Turiya state, which means, is he not experiencing, like Sandeep asked last time, right? You know that what happens if somebody is enlightened. So it doesn't mean that they don't experience all this. They do experience all this, but they just also see whatever we don't see, which is our nature of reality. They are also just seeing the power that is powering everything. These three states, all the experiences, what is that behind? So that is what it is, and that's nothing else. Now, about Satchidananda, we said that Satkim Kalaprevi Tishtati Yadu Sada. Chit Kim. Chit is that consciousness, Jnana Swarupa. What happens there when we reach that state? You will have that knowledge, that consciousness, that I am the one. That is when you say I, not ego. That is powering everything. Anandaka, Sukha Swarupa. It is the state of bliss. So Sat Chit Ananda is existence, consciousness, and bliss. The first part, Sat, every living creature in this world knows that I exist. Any doubt that we don't have any doubt that we exist, right? That is Sat. We exist, that we know. But what we don't understand is that Chit and Ananda. Because Chit is Jnana Swarupa. We get ourselves, the moment we wake up, we mix ourselves with various thoughts, various experiences, and then that's it. We get on with that till the time we go to sleep. Dream, we mix ourselves with various thoughts, various experiences, right? And we have all the emotions also in dream. We feel hungry, we feel like crying, all that. We mix ourselves. Sushupti, what is happening? Still, there are no objects, absence of objects, that consciousness is there, but we are not aware because we don't have the knowledge. That knowledge state is the Samadhi state. And that is Atma. Now, if you come to what is for our understanding, what are the attributes of Atma? Atman doesn't have much of attributes, but then it is illuminating. So in Bhagavad Gita, it is said that, Sarvendriya Gunabhasam, Sarvendriya Vivarjitam, Asaktam Saktabrikshaiva, Nirgunam Gunabhokricha. Right? Sarvendriya Gunabhasam. I illumine. Bhagavan is saying that from this layer, this place, I illumine everything. Sarvendriya Gunavasam. I am the one who is functioning through all indriyas, not just Hari's indriyas or Pradeep's, all indriyas. Right? Sarvendriya Gunavasam. Sarvendriya Vivajitam. But I myself don't have any kind of indriyas. because I am the power. I don't have hands or feet or anything like that. Asaktam, sakta vishaya. So I am like, I am detached from everything. But at the same time, it feels like I am attached to everything and doing everything, which we call as individual ego and sense.
Yeah, that is what ego, right?
Yeah.
My question is, if consciousness is like electricity, for example, the energy which drives from there, everywhere, it's the same energy, same consciousness, right? And if we try to go within to find that consciousness. So when we started, I asked you one thing, that I have a question for you. When you know that truth of consciousness, and if you are trying to go back to that consciousness stage, or whatever reality is for you, right? How, when you yourself as a consciousness treat your body as object, treat your all the stuff as object, and every other thing as object, right? How you still get attached and not detached? Because if I go in that scenario, example, Krishna was in that stage, I feel, where he was not, he loved everyone, he done all his duty, but he was not attached all his life, and he was not biased towards anyone all his life as a conscious way. So he's attached to his mom and dad, Nand Baba and Yasodama. And when he left 9 years, he never been back. He attached to his friends. He has memory of those things, but he never been back. Right? Same way, wherever he went, he attached with people, but still he was detached, kind of. So that is a conscious way of living. And if you live that way, it means your body itself, you don't feel about pain if you are dying, if you are hungry, or because it's a body, your consciousness has to accept that right now I don't have food, it will get like I will get that pain of hunger, or if someone hits me, I will get that pain of hitting. But my consciousness is that electricity, and I have to treat this as an object. How do you get detached
Okay, so
or attached? So
yeah.
once I go back to consciousness and still living in this world, how I can be attached? Because it's very tough, because I will treat you every single thing, including myself, as a same label. So how I will prioritize my clothes, my eating, my food, my desire, my fantasy, my child's fantasy, everything, because I shouldn't be earning, I shouldn't be doing nothing apart from helping each other. That's it. That's the, even not just human, you just help whatever comes in your way. That's the only
and just if I can add two more things to the same thought process, that we do good, bad karmas, different people do different things, or the survival instinct. Because now if there is one truth and we all are like linked to that, it's all one, then why we have that survival instinct, or like
why should no, there shouldn't be having that survival instinct at all, because you don't need to be. If this light is off, you know that's fine, that tube light is off. You are not tube light, your electricity, your consciousness. You will power up another one, you will power up another one. Doesn't matter, you switch off this body, you will power something else, right? How you get not emotional, how you get not attached to those things.
Right. So you just let me start from that point, which you just said, that you don't have to do anything for yourself, but you will help others. You said that, right? So what do you mean by helping others?
Helping, not helping, is not about even help. So, for example, when you are conscious, you have to operate the body, or you have to operate or thread between those things, which is right now you are in this format, right? So I'm format of this body right now. I might be format of this body tomorrow. Don't know. But because being this format, within that format, I have to act to run this body or do something, right? So it's very limited. You need it technically to run this body. You need very limited food. You need very limited things. If you put all the experiences apart, you don't need experiences. You have to just go into the flow to do anything to touch other consciousness possibly.
Right. So the point is that what you're just saying is, if I am the consciousness, then what is the need to do all this, right? Why should I work? Why should I do anything at all? Now the point is, you are the consciousness, but then still what, from the point that you're saying is from your body level, right? Remember this, that's what I said in the beginning also. When you are saying that you are the consciousness, we are not denying any of these. We are not denying Stula, Sukshma, or Karma. What we said, it is the thing that is illumining all these three bodies.
Yes.
Right? So when you actually reach that state, right, there is something called as, this is being manifested, this body is being manifested. Now you have your wife, your kids, your duties that is bound. But from the point of a jnani, who's the enlightened one, he will also have a lot of things. Like, for example, the story of Janaka that we said. Janaka was an emperor. He was an enlightened soul. He didn't go to forest, right? So he went on with his duties. But the difference between Janaka and us is that Janaka, or any enlightened soul for that matter, understands this, that this is, as I said, I am the owner of these three bodies. There is ego, there is mind, there is buddhi, there is chitta, all that, senses. I have to work as it is my prarabdha karma, which we will come to what is karma and prarabdha karma and sanjita karma. There are three types of karmas: prarabdha, sanjita, agama, which we will come to that. So just keep that in mind. This body will work, right? I am the consciousness. When you say I am the consciousness, what you are trying to do actually here is, and think over this, you are trying to superimpose yourself upon that consciousness. As Hari, if Hari has wife, kids, the mortgage to pay, why should Hari pay that? Because Hari is the consciousness. That's not how the way to look at it, right?
To add to that, why even if Hari has to do that prarabdha karma for doing that payment towards mortgage, giving shelter to kids and wife, why he has to be biased towards himself, his family, or neighbors, or friends, or unknown people? Even he consider him as an enemy. Why he has to be biased towards? For example, Ram, even though Ravana taken Sita away, he was not biased. He was not considering him as an enemy. He was just doing his prarabdha karma. But consciously, he was not fighting a devil.
Exactly. That's the state
So how you
will be in.
that?
Exactly. That's the state that you will be in. Because what will happen is that still your outer duties are not going away. It will not go away. It will not fall away. If you think that it is going to fall away, it's not. Right? So what will happen is that if you are in that state, right, in the consciousness state, the way that you are performing your duties will change. The way that, of course, if I look at my wife and kids, right, the way if I'm into that state, what I will be seeing is, yes, this body, this ego has got these attachments to it, and it is as the consciousness functioning through the body, it is the duty of this body to make sure that they are fed well, they are taken care of. But if I'm into that body consciousness, right, if I go beyond in that samadhi state, if I'm not even conscious about myself as a person, right? I will not be in that state. I will not be having my identification with this body or with my wife or my kids at that point of time. But you will come back to it, right? Because you are getting manifested through the body. It's like as simple as you just said. If the electricity comes to this tube, and if there is a tube, it has to show light. It can't say that, okay, you know what, let me take a stance that I'm not going to show it. Though the tube is absolutely perfect, and I am the electricity while going through, let me not illuminate. It doesn't have to say it. But it doesn't matter if that tube gets fused and it gets destroyed. That's the point, right? The way that you will be seeing, and this is the way that all jnanis are viewing. And also, there is a system. I don't know whether you have heard about this Varkari system.
Yeah.
Right. So, Varkari system is where the people, there were a lot of jnanis in that system, and they lived absolutely. They went on with their life, and lot of bhaktas there, a lot of people who are enlightened. Like for example, Chokamela. Chokamela is one person who is an enlightened soul, who was a scavenger. He used to, clean the toilets, and he used to go on with his duty. But it will not affect you whether good or bad is coming to you. Everything will come. You are one step behind. You are in that consciousness state, and you will see yourself as that consciousness, which you will see everything as objects. You just mentioned that I will not feel the pain if I am consciousness. That's not.
If I go in that state, because I have to treat these as objects.
No, you will. If you have the body, you will feel the pain, right? All the jnanis, for example, there was this great saint Ramana Maharshi or Sri Ram.
So in that scenario, I'll give you the example of Buddha. So Buddha was meditating, and there is a story where there is a cow person who was coming there. He was meditating with open eyes, and he says, Guruji, can you please look after my cow and all this? I'll come in a few minutes. And he goes away. Buddha was in conscious kind of meditative stage. He didn't listen, nothing. He came back and all the stuff went away somewhere. He was so angry. So he was saying, I told you, you didn't look after my all the animals. Why? He's not replying because he's in conscious stage. So he started putting the nail in his ears, and the blood started coming. He's still in that stage where he's not even feeling the body pain, and he's still this thing. When he came back to the conscious state, to normal state, he was not feeling that pain either. And when all the followers came and say, why you not angry on that? He says, it's just my body is giving a pain. But he was not feeling pain because he was in that conscious stage kind of scenario, right?
Yes,
and he was not differentiating his body and someone else.
You will feel pain, and don't get it otherwise. You will feel pain if you are in this layer. This Mana Buddhi Chitta Ahankara, right? When you identify yourself, what is the power that a jnani is getting, an enlightened soul is getting, is to disassociate himself or herself from that body and then get into this layer, right? So if you are here, like for example, Sri Ramakrishna,
yes,
right? He was having a cancer. He was having pain, but he just looked at pain as an object. Ramana Maharshi, he was having a cancer, right? Like Buddha. What is happening is that if as of today, I can identify only with this body as myself and say that if something is there, oh, it's pain. But if I can't, let's say this breaks, right? And the screen is breaking. Let's say this has got some conscious and it is feeling the pain. I will not feel the pain, though it is mine. The body is mine, right? If I am able to go detach myself from it, then I learn. But when I'm coming to that, and I can give you a story as an example. There was this Swami Brahmananda in this tradition of Sri Ramakrishna tradition. right? So, and then he was having a similar issue, and uh, he had to undergo a surgery. And then the doctors came and then said that, we will perform the surgery. So he said, no, I don't need any anesthesia. Go ahead. So the doctor said, no. I said, are you sure about it? Yes, I'm sure about it. And then the doctors performed, and then, absolutely no issues at all. He was just sitting as if there is nothing happening, and he was even putting the band-aid, helping them. So then the doctors next day came, I mean 1 or 2 days after, and then without telling anything to him, they just put their hands and he started shouting, oh, it's so much paining. So then the doctor was absolutely surprised. And he said, Swamiji, but we did the surgery and I'm just changing the bandage now. Right? When we did the surgery, you were absolutely fine. And why are you now saying that it's pain? So then he said, "Arey yaar, bol ke to karna chahiye na." So then he said, why? My mind was not into that. My mind was not in the body. I was not consciously, my consciousness was not getting reflected in the mind or the body. So I was not feeling pain. But now I was reading, he was reading or something, doing something as a bodily activity. So he said, I was into this particular state wherein I was in the Jagrat state, right? So that state is where I was in. When I was feeling this, and then of course it will be paining. Right?
Yes. So now coming to that example, where he consciously aware that if I go and treat my body as an object, I will not feel a pain because I'm taking that consciously. So he got the operation without pain. Or even if it's
might
pain,
not, but it is an objective. That's what you are saying.
Yes, I understand. But when he was doing so that time his consciousness is not doing body work possibly, but on body there is a work happening. But he never consciously made aware of it.
Yes.
So mind he has wiped out or whatever. Right? Now he was doing another activity and he got pain, where he is consciously not out and not treating his body as an object possibly. So that's why he got pain. My point is, when you are consciously aware of both conditions, how you don't, how you get emotional, or how you don't have to be emotional, or how you don't have to be greedy. The main issue is those things rather than body and all that. I don't consider my body, that's fine. But the drive of life, every human has, and what we build this society is on greed, is on damaging other but benefiting us, right? If I go and learn and understand my consciousness, how I can be still greedy and treating you and him differently, or my family differently, and then your family differently.
You don't have to be greedy, right? I mean, why should
I just add to that what Sandeep I think. I mean, I don't know about me personally. I'm on that journey. The moment you cross the line, right, where this is just where I am at this stage, right? So I see where the moment you cross that line, there will be a time you'll cross the line. The moment you cross the line, everything will become immaterial, right? And that moment, everyone has a different moment of that, and may or may not have it before death, right? Depends. So I think what you're trying to say is, if people will achieve that and they are still attached to the material body, but I think
can still be attached.
Because it's a journey. It's a journey. It's not a switch. It's not a switch over.
No, it's not sweet, but
That's
it's
what I'm
like
saying.
consciously you know the enlightenment of the real thing, how you can still be okay. Differentiating the one object to other object, that is the main problem.
Right. So, you are thinking that the greed, you don't have to be greedy to get on with life, first of all, right? You can actually be, if you are in a drama, if you are an actor, how you will perform? You will still be performing the role that you have to perform without identifying yourself with it, right? So, in the sense that if you look at classic example is like the Mahabharata, there was this war happening. Sri Krishna knew what it is, right? He tried to avoid it. He tried to speak to both the parties, right? And then that's why it is being said in the battlefield. What he's saying? He said, that is your prakriti. Don't leave your prakriti. So Arjuna, he could have told Arjuna, okay, leave everything, go to forest. He didn't say that. Because that's where this karma comes in. Prarabdha Sanjita. This body will do whatever it is supposed to be doing. It will. Your mind will do whatever it is supposed to be doing. If you are saying that the greed, as an example you said, right? You are identifying yourself with the greed. Are you getting the point? You are identifying yourself with the greed and saying, I am greedy. If Arjuna, after hearing all this is what exactly Bhagavan told to Arjuna. Then Arjuna might have said, okay, I am keeping, what is the point in doing the war? Let me keep my thing, the weapon down and do. That's not the point. The point is, the layers are not going away. The layers, this Karana Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, all that Panchachanendriyas, Antakaranam especially, everything will be there. You will do whatever you are supposed to do. There is no doubt about it. If you are doing something, if you are greedy, you will carry on with that, if that's your nature.
But we discussed that nature is what consciousness is, and all consciousness is one. So how can be my nature has to there is some other things. If for example in that thought I can start.
No. Now you are talking about the world, right? We will come to that. That's what I said. After knowing this, you will ask this question. So that we will come in the next class. What is world? Why am I seeing different people, right? Why you are greedy? Because you are seeing him having more money, power than me.
I don't want to be.
Yeah, but we will come to that. You first of all see there is a difference. That's why you are feeling that greed.
I have a similar question, Anibal. For future class, probably we will cover. But the question is, if we are saying that Atman is one, right, and probably everybody's Atman is one, then why we are having this experiences and the whole journey and the journey from to the purity and
creation, manifestation, that's what we are going to see. And then to answer your question, Sandeep bhai, all this greed, lust, desire, anger, everything which are the properties of the mind, which arises because of the duality that we see. Because that if everything was mind, there is no need for me to be greedy of anything.
So I shouldn't be stopping all those things.
Just hold on that till the next class.
And Janma Punarjanma also in next class.
Sorry?
What is Janma?
Janma, it is coming. So for this class, we need to understand what is Atman, right? So the next class we will be covering what is world, what is manifestation, what are the karmas, and what is the reason behind all this, right? And what is Janma, Punarjanma? Is there something called as a rebirth, right? So now we will come. Yeah.
Question. We say Atma lives in all the living beings, including microbes, bacteria. So within our body, we have microbes in our gut, right? So that means we have many Atmas, our own Atma, and plus many Atmas of the bacteria also inside us.
No. So I think okay. So what we are saying is that there is only one Atma. Yeah. There is only one electricity manifesting through various things, right? So that's what we are saying. What is the attributes of Atman? Let's just look at it, then we will understand. First is Atman is not part of the product, not part or product of the body. That is understood because it is apart from the body. That is something that we have established. Second is that Atman pervades and illumines all three shariras. That's the base. Is that understood?
Yeah.
Right?
As a thread, common thread.
As a common thread. It is not limited by the body.
No.
It is not limited by the body, right? Because if it is limited
so
by
that is answering his question.
Yeah, it is not.
Because this is not one electricity. You consider this is one body, but you have maybe multi-billion body within you, but that Atman is one, which is electricity. So that Atman of electricity is enlightening every body within you or outside you. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
In simple terms, the concept understanding of Atman.
No, so I'll let me just finish this, then we will discuss, so that you'll get some more. So Atman is known by the functioning of three shariras, because how, if it's there, then how can I know that whether it is functioning? What is the way that it is expressing itself? As Hari, as Sandeep Bhai, as Pradeep Bhai, right? As various people, as a cat, as a dog, as whatever it is, and it is in unmanifest state also, and without body and mind, Atman is still there, but we cannot know. And how do we establish this? Right. So let's take an example. Let me try with this. Right. So let me just this. Can you switch off the light? I think that would be better. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So first of all, Atman is not product or part of the body. So let's say,
Not 5 elements, like what would be our body is made of 5 elements.
Creation, manifestation.
It is not.
As on today, from an experience level, it is not. That's where Ishvara and Brahman will come in next classes, right?
Okay.
Right? So now it's Atman. Atman is, and don't please lose this thread, okay? Whatever we are learning, we are building step by step, right? So we will come to the manifestation, creation, how that has happened, what is Panchabhuta, how it is made, as when we learn something called as Panchikarana, right? So for now, what are the attributes of Atman? Atman is not part or product of the body. So let's say this is my body, right? And this light, as we see, is the Atman. Let's just see. So if I look at it, so this Atman is actually falling, that is, in the body, right? So, and we said that it is what is illumining the body. So let's say, that's why I asked to show the light. So let's say there is absolute darkness. What is illumining this Sharira? Is that light, right? That light alone. And Atman pervades and illumines all three Shariras. It is actually pervading the sense, it is what is shining the light on this, right? On the three Shariras, let's imagine that these are the three Shariras, right? It is not limited by the body. Is this light only limited to this hand? It is going everywhere, right? Right? So it is not limited to this hand. It is known by the functioning of three Shariras, meaning this light is going everywhere, but can you see the light here?
Yeah.
Can you see?
No, only on the
Not backside, no.
Right? So you can only see it here, right?
Yes.
It is though the light is here, it is there, right? But I can only see it, perceive it here, because it is known by the functioning of the three Shariras, right? Without body and mind, Atman is still there, but cannot be known.
Okay.
The Atman, the life.
So without Sarira, you cannot experience.
You cannot experience, because the life, the ego, whatever is getting manifested as you, as me, what is it? That is what we call as Atman.
So coming to his question, technically, he has multi-million bodies within him. So every body has that kind of.
If you can, let's say, take this as a separate cell and put it outside, and that cell, if you look at it, right, that life in the cell,
even your own body,
own body, right. So let's say in this computer, right, there will be multiple chips that will be getting powered by the electricity. Correct. So if you take this to a computer technician, laptop technician, he might take one chip out and he might be doing something, soldering something, and then he will connect the electricity to it to see whether it is working. It is necessarily not being part of this laptop. He will put it inside the laptop later. But as an overall construct, right, we see that this is functioning by electricity. If you take it out and work on that particular chip and see whether that chip is working or not with whatever his equipment is, he can perceive the electricity in that one as well. Yes or no? Right? So that's the same way. So if you look at,
might be that ocean doesn't have the memory, ego, or
whatever that particular thing. Yeah. Let's say you are doing a lot of transplants these days, heart transplant, right? Kidney transplant, right? All this is happening. So if you look at whether life is not there. Life is there. Otherwise, it can function. It can get connected. It is not destroyed. It can function, right? But you are taking it out of this body as a separate entity. Like you are taking the chip out of this, the motherboard out of this, let's say, or the memory out of this, and keeping it and connecting it to another source, a computer, or you are seeing it, right? So, but it can still function through electricity. What is not changing there? If I am just dismantling all this, the entire laptop into various pieces and connecting to the points where how it can function through the power, that power is not changing. Power is not changing. The way that I connect to the power might change. It might not be an aggregate as a laptop. It could be just that I'm taking the memory out and connecting it into other somewhere. But that the power that is required to power it, the electricity, is the same. That what is required to run is the same. Are you getting the point?
Yeah.
So if you look at, I cannot say that because I have taken this power out, this memory out, and then I have connected to something else. I need, let's say, instead of I don't know what is 110 watt power, I need 200 watt power. No, connect 110 watt power and keep, right? So you don't have different electricities to power different things. It is the one.
My other question is, if consciousness is so pervasive in the entire universe, then why most of the universe is lifeless and only fraction like Earth has got life? Why consciousness is not everywhere?
No, consciousness is everywhere. It is the equipment. If you look at electricity, it is everywhere. If you are not connecting and manifesting that particular equipment to it, that's the point. Because if you look at this earth as such, where you can sustain life, right? That earth itself is like a life sustaining ball, because there are certain conditions. If there is no air, you and me can't sit here and breathe, right? If there are no 5 elements, we cannot. So these 5 elements are again an offshoot of consciousness, which is what we will see in the coming sessions, right? The point is that consciousness is there in lifeless and in life things as well. And that's what I said earlier. When you say that consciousness is out of body, you will be suddenly looking here and there. Where is it? That's not the way to look at it, right? So this everything is on the base of consciousness, the earth, the universe, and that's what we are going to see in the macro level, right? So
this will require one more
absolutely,
discussion, because this is like still heavy.
This is heavy, right?
A lot of questions coming in.
Absolutely. So this and I was that's why I wanted to make this as a one-to-one. I know that it will be better.
There's also one more thing I was reading, that in future there will be something called as a mind uploading, where you can upload your mind digitally. So that means consciousness can live without your body. You can live without your body in theory.
So you are talking about avatar concept. So
Not
the film avatar.
When you die, your consciousness will be uploaded.
No, but that's what they shown, that the human body, they connect to something else and they transfer all the memories to the other body. Movie.
The session we just having.
I think
Atman is everywhere.
we can wrap up here because some of the parking is still set.
Oh, right. Okay. All right. So I'll just say one thing.
Consciousness is a complex topic.
No, yeah, it is. I'll just say one thing and then wrap up.
Yeah.
Whatever that you are saying, right? If you look at this, if it's within this, you said mind can be uploaded, and you just said that then suddenly you changed it to consciousness. Mind and consciousness are not the same. What we are saying is that the first level of understanding that we should be having is consciousness is apart from whatever that you are seeing here. First of all, let's have a thorough understanding of that. What is consciousness? What is its nature? Let's park that, even if we don't understand it, right?
Yeah.
But only if there is a single takeaway from this class that we have to have is that consciousness is apart from this. If we have that thorough understanding, then all this confusion will be cleared to a certain extent. So whatever we are talking about, right, whether mind can be uploaded, mind is not consciousness. Because mind comes here, mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. So if you look at these avasthas, asti, jayate, vardhate, sthula sharira, sukshma sharira, karana, it is outside of these three. So think of the examples, whatever you want to think of, and then immediately ask the question: whatever I am thinking as a consciousness, is that coming in under one of these classifications? If not, I would say let's discuss in the next class. If it is, you have your answer.
Yeah, I think there's one question. You know, the example you gave of the torch in the hand, right? Or the light in the hand. If we are thinking of the Atman as that light, obviously we took at that view, but actually it is infinitude. So it's not just that direction. That light is actually everywhere.
Absolutely.
Right? It's not here. That's what we.
Absolutely. Yeah. But you know, I can only show that as an example.
Yeah, I'm just trying to clear my mind that
Right.
it's the infinity.
So that's what. So is this clear to at least a certain extent?
We're trying to not digest.
It is a bit heavy topic, and that's why, and believe me, this is a bit heavy to digest also. That's why we have all these stories, Puranas, all that. And we will see, once we see all this, let me see, maybe we can see Ramayana. What is the meaning of it?
Yes.
Right? Once we go through this, we will see what is the meaning of Ramayana.
Say bye-bye to everyone.
Yeah.
Or let's pray. Let's pray.
So, again, one last takeaway. Think of it, and that's an exercise for the next class. One last takeaway, that is, think of whatever you can think of, all the questions, and then try to think whether it falls under those three shelters. Right?
Okay.
If it's apart, that's what we are talking about. If you have questions like it is apart, because
it should be apart. My thought is it should be apart.
If you have questions that you can think that it doesn't fit under any of these three states, then let's discuss in the next class. Right? Okay. Now let's pray. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Okay, everyone. We'll see you all next time. We are stopping now. So.
It was a deep dose.